What up? What up? What up? Mad Chatter, NFL the Kid, Kyrita, Marcus Cash. Oh man, Liz. Even though your name is Elizabeth, I'm gonna call you Liz. All right, I'm gonna call you Liz, Elizabeth. The guys rocking. All you guys are already going off in the chat. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, man. I mean, what did y'all expect though, right? Did y'all expect anything less? Can we do a potential replacement for glitchers coming in hot with that question? Fortunately, that's not how it works with ownerships. Panther Raider X, what up? What up? What up? All right, everybody, make sure as you're coming in, make sure you pound that like button. Y'all know the deal. It's easy. It's simple. You just pound that like button like it owes you money. I got a goal in mind for you guys today as you're joining in. I have a goal in mind. Every single time we need to try to beat a goal. And the goal is to pound that like button. There's 14 people watching right now, okay? I need 14 likes. We only have 6. It's free. It helps get the algorithm out there. And the more likes we get, the more people see our show, okay? All right. Again, the goal in mind, though, for me is 30 likes. Actually, no, screw that. Screw that. This is like there's times, so let's try to get 50. But let's try to reach 50 likes, okay? If we get 50 likes, great. If we don't, it's good enough, okay? Subscribing's also free, guys. Just saying. Yeah, Panther Raider X, you said it best. You took the words right out of my mouth. Y'all are awesome. It's been a long day for me, guys. Honestly, I am exhausted. I just ordered Chipotle. I got asked by my aunt yesterday while I was live streaming. That's why maybe if you watched some of the live stream yesterday, I was pausing, I was muting stuff. She was like, can you take off work today? And I was like, why? And anyways, long story short, I had to play in a golf tournament today. God forbid, I had to play golf on a Monday. But don't tell my job that I did it. Nah, I was working too. I got some work done in the morning. I got a lot of things done. I've heard that too, Marcos Cash. I heard that too, man. I've heard that too. So, guys, the goal is today for tonight's live stream, let's get up to 50 likes, okay? That's all I ask. So, as you're coming in, make sure you pound the like button, get in the comment section, and do your worst. You know what I mean? Do your worst. I can tell you one thing right now: the coach nor the GM is really the issue. Everyone here knows the issue. I can tell you one thing right now: the coach nor the GM is the real issue. Everyone. I mean, glitches to a certain extent. Yeah, I mean, it's all on Tepper, sure, but to a certain extent, it's all on 3 of them. If we want to say anything, glitches. I mean, you have to blame the owner for meddling within this. Clay, you fired? The Trump voice? I don't know. You're fired. You're fired. Listen, you're fired. I don't know if that's a good Trump thing. But anyways, Kyrie, that was to your comment. I'm not a very good Trump impersonator, so I can do some impersonations, but not Trump. You're fired. Tremendous. Hey, listen, you did a shitty ass job, okay? Listen, they brought me in because they know I'm gonna do a tremendous job. All right, that's all I got for you for a Trump impersonation. But glitches, nah. I mean, we gotta blame. The thing is you blame the owner, right? Because he got meddled with the ownership, right? You get pissed off at him for getting involved in the football operations. Then you blame the GM for the talent and the lack of depth through free agency and drafting that he did. But also becoming a yes man to an owner that says that wanted Bryce Young, when we all know that this whole front office and this coaching staff wanted CJ Stroud. Frank Reich wanted CJ Stroud. Whether he's willing to admit it or not, we all know that. Okay. But Frank Reich deserved to be fired because the play calling was atrocious, right? We all know that. Okay. That's the issue. The issue with Frank Reich was because he was not doing a good job when it came to play calling and developing the players. And that's the reason why Frank got fired. Okay. So it's a long list of things. Okay. There's a long list of things, right? I mean, here's the thing. They made this move firing Frank Reich, but that's just the beginning, guys. Because here's the thing. This franchise is in dire need of a complete overhaul, clean slate, starting with David Tepper's approach to running the team. Tepper's incompetence in managing the NFL franchise or this NFL franchise cannot be ignored any longer. Okay. So here's my spiel. He needs to change his approach. If he wants to bring this team back to where it's respectable, right? Okay. And Tepper, he's going to have to hire an outside firm to pick a new general manager based on previous accomplishments and concise vision for the future here in Carolina. So the general manager should then be given the freedom. Again, the general manager should be given the freedom to pick his head coach. That's how it works. We've done an ass backwards where the head coach got to choose the GM. That's the issue. That's why Matt Rule, when he came in here, he picked Scott Fitter. Okay. They hired Matt Rule, then they hired the GM. That's not usually how it works. It's GM, then head coach. And that's without any interference from the owner, though. And Tepper should oversee operations as an owner and focus on business side of things, such as stadium upgrades, okay? New training facility, those kinds of things. Let the football guys, okay? Let the football guys make the football calls. And that's the only way to bring the Panthers back to contention in this league. Tepper needs to stop surrounding himself with yes men and come to the realization that taking a back seat is imperative moving forward. He has to look himself in the mirror and acknowledge his mistakes. I need him to come out and say, listen, it's my fault that I hired these head coach. It's my fault that I hired this GM. It's my fault for meddling within the football operations and me not taking a step back. Tepper needs to come out and acknowledge these things, that what he's doing is not working. Anything less is nothing more than Tepper sticking his head in the sand and then pretending that everything is rosy in the Garden of Eden. Seriously. Because the fact that Tepper has appointed special teams coordinator Chris Tabor as the interim head coach is telling a sign, number one, that he doesn't want another Steve Wilkes situation on his hands. Tabor is the safe bet here. That's the reason why they chose him, okay? But it remains to be seen whether Tepper will make the right call when it comes to hiring the next head coach. Again, we're at some crossroads here because David Tepper's at these crossroads. It's not really us. We're at crossroads because we're having to deal with it from a fan standpoint. But we're at a crossroads because Tepper has to make this right, and he has to make the right decisions, and he has to acknowledge his faults if he wants to turn this team around. The firing of Frank Reich is just the beginning, those guys, because there's much more that needs to be done, okay, and especially to regain contention here. Now, Frank Reich, okay, recently spoke about his firing by David Tepper, okay? You know, he was fired after 11 games in this time span. And he expressed his disappointment in not being able to turn things around in a short time he was given. And he stated that there's a heart-pounding disappointment in not hitting the marks that he wanted to hit, and he's going to keep this going and try to turn things around. And it hurts him for the team, the guys, the coaches, the fans, apparently. Basically, that's what he said. But apparently he gave praise. Of course, Reich's going to give the guy praise because his buyout and then all the money that he's going to be getting. You know, it was honestly, from what my understanding was what was crazy, that how Frank Reich really how how humble he came off. And I mean, he's still that kind of a guy, right? Because all he said was positive things about David Tepper. Apparently he said that he saw David Tepper on a personal level that he never saw before or heard of. And said he had deeply respect for him and cared about him, and you know, whatever case may be. But there's no holding hard feelings here towards Tepper, which is surprising to me. But I guarantee you there's going to be other reports come out, and there's going to be some interviews that are going to be coming out, and I guarantee you we'll see maybe a different side of things and different stories. Damn, y'all are going off in the chat, man. Let me get back to these. I don't see further staying. They look like they're cleaning the house right now. Us trading. Guys, so this glitches. I'm glad you said this statement because we're going to talk about that. All right, we're going to talk about that. All right. Could have thrown Burns instead of DJ. Yeah, could have. We're definitely going to be talking about that, glitches. These trades, the trades that were made. All right, just give Bryce the last remaining starts. We could see what he can do. He can do with a different mindset. I don't know, man. That Rock. Honestly, I think that we need to sit him, guys. The goal is tonight to get 50 likes. There's only 11. There's 20 people watching, so there's no reason why we shouldn't have 20 likes. So just do me a favor and pound that like button. It goes a long way. And if you like the content I'm putting out there, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's free as well. All right. If Tepper was going to fire Scott, he would have already. Tepper and Scott are close on and off the field. What were they expected to see? Traded or two best offense players? Yeah, it's easy. DJ setting. Yeah. The problem I fear is ego. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, guys. There's just too many cooks in the kitchen. Reich fell on the sword for Tepper publicly. Bottom is it just didn't work, right? Chef 85. Justin Bryanson here. What's up, Justin? The best owners in the NFL, the ones who just open up the check button and go the hell away. Exactly. They're the ones that just chill. They're just the ones that chill. All right. There are reports. No, that's true. Glitches. That's actually true. Those reports are true that he walked into the locker room and then just dropped the F-bomb and like walked out. Like, it's insane, man. In 2008, has had 3 head coaches, 3 interim head coaches. I know. Can other owners vote out David Tepper like Dan Snyder? There could be a possibility, glitches. It depends on. I think it has to do with. I think it has to do with how, like views, money. I think if like views and the money and all that, would definitely get him involved. But so guys, I want to share this video real quick because this is an interesting video, that I wanted to share, and it's about, it's off the Dan Patrick. If anybody knows who that is. I might get demonetized, not demonetized, but they might not let me get monetized for this video. Basically, you need to watch this because this was interesting from the Dan Patrick show. They talked about this. I really want to play this video, but I don't think they'll allow me. I wonder if Twitter has it, because Twitter, I won't get in trouble. Let's see if I can find that clip. Dan Patrick. I was just thinking of, I'm glad I thought about that before I hopped on, before I started showing you this. I want to show this clip real quick of Dan Patrick from the Dan Patrick show, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Again, and if I find it, no, that's not Dan Patrick. That is definitely not Dan Patrick. First off, oh, here it is. But I wonder if there's a clip. No. Ryan Day. Ah, here it is. Perfect. This is the one. I can show this at least real quick. I really like this clip. So
fired.
See ya.
They lost to the Titans. The owner, David Tepper, who he likes to do this. He doesn't have patience. Billionaires usually don't. And apparently he was very upset when he left the locker room, shaking his head and yelled out, bleep. The expectations weren't high for the Panthers, but they did trade up, get Bryce Young. The report was the owner wanted Bryce Young. There was some chatter that Frank Reich did not want Bryce Young, but everybody went all in because the owner wanted Bryce Young. And we see what C.J. Stroud is doing right now. I don't know if he would be doing what he's doing with the Panthers, but he would be an upgrade so far from what we've seen from Bryce Young. You're 1-10. 1-10. No draft pick either. They've lost a lot of close football games, and then Frank Reich says these games are winnable. And since he purchased the Panthers in 2018, none of the moves made under Tepper have brought the franchise success. 5 different head coaches, including an interim head coach, 2 interim head coaches, 10 quarterbacks have started games for the Panthers. Tepper allegedly preferred Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. In the David Tepper era, the Panthers are 30-63. Usually starts at the top there, David. Hey, I got a few $1 billion. Good. Good luck with that, because everybody else in the league has an owner as a few $1 billion. You don't scare anybody. Yes, Eden.
What are your thoughts on him down in the locker room yelling at the fellas?
I don't like owners going in there. Jerry Jones is always in there. Arthur Blank is there. I mean, they can. It's their team. But let people do their jobs. Let the coach do his job, the GM do his job. And, I'm sure David Tepper is really, really brilliant at the job that gave him billions of dollars. But this game, this sport, can humble you. It doesn't matter how much money. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how much money you are. There's a lot of luck that goes into this, but that's a bad team. It's a lifeless franchise right now, and it starts with him. He's the owner.
I've used that word
and he is
times.
Quick on the trigger to fire you.
See? I mean, dude, it's crazy, right? I mean, it's like I love that clip because Dan Patrick's right. It's the same thing I've been saying on my show. It's a lifeless franchise. I've been using that word for how long? I've been saying that it's like that because of him. Okay? Because of him. Whether you like it, I mean, whether we want to be real or not here. I'm going to put it like that. But again, right? This is where we are. I mean, here's the thing. It's no secret that Frank Reich, as a head coach for the Carolina Panthers, not only was it short-lived, but it was a dismal performance on a coaching level, though. You had a 1-10 start in your first year. You got fired from Indianapolis, so you already don't look good because you got fired from Indianapolis. So what exactly, though, went wrong, though, guys? Because that's the question, right? What exactly went wrong for Frank Reich during his time here in Carolina? Well, first and foremost, it's the fact that the Panthers offense lacks playmakers, which we're going to dive into the GM, Scott Fitter, because don't worry, I'm coming for your ass next. All right? Because despite the free agent signings of Miles Sanders and Hayden Hurst, which the pass game's still struggling to find even a reliable check down option, the run game has also been non-existent, leaving the offense with no real threat. Granted, yes, the offensive line has had its issues, right, with injuries. But again, the front office decision to rely on DJ Chark, a guy that tore his ACL after his one of his best seasons, has not been the same since. A 33-year-old Adam Thielen, a receiver who was questionable at best because of how old he was. Terrace Marshall Jr., who basically has just been a healthy scratch in each of the last 2 games. And then Laviska Shenault, who has failed to live up to the expectations time and time again, who can be a big-time playmaker, but he can't stay on the field. But that is not on Frank Reich. Okay? But there is issues, though, that he wasn't using these guys correctly. The scheme was not fitting. The play calling was lifeless. It was inefficient. The progress, the team was just regressing. It was just blah, 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 blah. But the scheme fit was a major issue. Let's just be honest. Wright brought in this spread offense, but the offense struggled mightily to adapt to this new system. The offensive line, which is pretty damn bad, because in the last 10 games, guys, let's be honest, last 10 games, they've allowed 40 sacks. That's 4 sacks a game. That's bad. They look better on paper because of what we saw last year, but they're playing in the wrong system too. Again, of course, injuries is a concern with that from the offensive line standpoint, like I was saying. But you failed to tweak the offense. The offensive line strengths was a major misstep. General Manager Scott Fitter then failed to supply the team with enough talent at the skill positions, leaving the Panthers with a roster ill-suited to the spread offense and the development of a rookie quarterback. There was just too many cooks in the kitchen. The right staff was filled with experience and well-respected coaches, sure, but the different offensive philosophies, I think, clashed. That is my hypothesis. I think there was too many cooks in the kitchens. Yes, they were all experienced coaches. They were all well-respected coaches, but the different offensive philosophies just clashed, and that was it. James Campen, I think, did a terrific job with the offensive line in a run power scheme. Thomas Brown came from there with that Sean McVay tree. Features tons of pre-snap motion, post-snap movement, but right spread background with bigger pocket passer type quarterbacks didn't seem to mesh well with the rest of the staff. But not only that, you're a rookie quarterback. Ultimately, the lack of cohesiveness and the clear direction of this offense was the reason why Frank Reich got fired. He was calling up plays specifically for Adam Thielen. We all remember that. But Adam Thielen wasn't on the field. That's poor game management. That was an issue. Look at how many false starts and how many penalties we had per game. Discipline was another issue. You know? And the list goes on and on, right? You've heard me say it before. You've heard me say it before. Get Cam Newton in the building boom. I feel you. I feel you. I feel that. So, guys, we're almost 17 likes. Make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in. Feel free to get in the comment section. I promise I will get to everyone's comments. I tried to, at least. All right. Frank wanted CJ, not Bryce. That's the problem. Absolutely. That's why it did not fit the spread offense. I feel like Frank Reich was running a college-style offense, though, here. Not going to lie to you. Clay, I have an idea. Bill O'Brien wants to lead New England Patriots. Let's offer him a head coach's job. Seems like he's learned a lot from Nick Saban. Now is more mature. Now, why not just try it? Because Bill O'Brien will end up doing what he did in Houston and destroy not only an organization, but destroy, get the best thing that happened to their organization, like he did with Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson also did it to himself because he couldn't keep his hands off of some happy endings. So that's his fault. Jen Memory. What's up, Jen? I'm late, so not sure if you discussed it, but the Evero was offered and said no. Do you think he chose Tabor because he had the most experience? Probably chose Tabor because it was the smartest move for him at the moment. And so clear. I mean, you kind of answered your question here. You know, I mean, Tabor was going to make the right moves. I like Tabor. I think he checks the vibe check here. I think he knows what's going on. I get what you're saying though here with this Kyrito. I get that. I do. I like the idea of maybe bringing him as an offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, something like that. But that's the thing. Bill O'Brien's he's not willing to take a step below a head coaching thing, even though he did take a back seat to Saban and Bill Belichick. But he's not a yes man when it comes to those kinds of things. Hey buddy, you ready for? Yeah, I'm interested to see how it pans out, real Wyatt. I'm interested to see it pans out. What's up? What's up, Panther Blue? Thanks for that comment, by the way, today on Twitter, man. We'll definitely look at that when we break down the game film tomorrow. All right, we're doing a film, guys. That's what I'm saying. Make sure you pound that like button tonight. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. All right, guys, make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're doing a game film session tomorrow. Thoughts on firing Staley? I don't know if you talked about it yet. I mean, here's the thing, man. I kind of figured that was going to happen. Again, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I mean, that's the reason why they let go Josh McCown. I think Josh McCown needed to go because he was not benefiting the team whatsoever. It wasn't benefiting his mentorship as a QB coach. I don't think was best fitting for Bryce. Again, Deuce Staley. Again, I just didn't understand it. I think Deuce Staley was another guy that like I said before, when it comes to this coaching staff and where things went wrong, there was too many cooks in the kitchen, right? There's too many cooks in the kitchen, and everyone's offensive philosophies just clashed. And that's what the big issue is. And that's the reason why Deuce Staley's gone. Yeah, Tabor definitely equals more snaps for ISM, Marcos Cash. You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. Frank Wright is the scapegoat, and he had everybody else wanted and planned on picking Stroud and building with him, but Tepper wanted Bryce, so everybody just went along with it and didn't want issues. Love the comment there, Wyatt. I love how real you keep it. I think we still will see less of Miles with Tabor and Brown taking over and Deuce being fired. I don't know why Evero didn't take it, though, Jen. He probably doesn't want to be here because he's probably going to get asked to be a head coach somewhere. I guarantee you we might not see Evero here unless he gets offered the head coaching job. I guarantee you. I have a feeling he's going to be up for a head coaching position. So that's probably the reason why he didn't take an interim job. Yeah, exactly. They all put a scheme around the Stroud because that's who they were going to go with. And then Tepper stepped in, and that's when shit hit the fan. No problem. I have some suspicions, but not always sure how to spot an audible. That's why I asked for help. Yeah, well, I'll do the best I can. I'm going to be honest with you, Panther Blue. I am no expert at that, but I can sometimes spot them, but sometimes that could just be him, going up to the line, making sure, everybody's good, or he's reading defenses, but we'll see. We'll look into it more. If I had sound on the catch-22 on those things, I could be able to see that more, but I'm sure he does, Panther Raider X. I would. So next head coaches, guys. There's the next head coaches. All right. So over here to the right, or over here to the left, I should say, as you can see here, next head coaches. In the Vikings hat, these are potential guys I think we could go after. Again, this is the same list I had before. Again, Wes Phillips, offensive coordinator there in Minnesota. I think despite the injuries that they've had there, their offense is still clicking, even bringing in Josh Dobbs, the astronaut, man. Their offense is still performing well. And he's been under the guidance of Kevin O'Connell, who I think is an offensive guru in the NFL. I think offensive coordinator Wes Phillips, he's Phillips is the grandson of the legendary coach Bum Phillips. If you don't know who he is, go look him up. But has a progressive offensive mind rooted in that Sean McVay tree. I think could potentially bring in that innovation to the Panthers offense, which Wes Phillips makes sense, because here's the reason why Wes Phillips makes sense. You keep Thomas Brown there from that Sean McVay tree to be that offensive coordinator. Those guys too would be great to be paired up with if you think about it, right? Because they both come from that Sean McVay tree. So it would be good for Thomas Brown to stay as offensive coordinator, and you bring in Wes Phillips to be that head coach. Listen, there's a method to my madness when it comes to these things, guys. Okay? All right? I do my research when it comes to these next head coaches, these next GMs. I have done my research on this. All right? So, again, that's why I'm picking Wes Phillips here. Okay? It makes sense. You could pair him up with Thomas Brown. There isn't too many cooks in the kitchen then. The offensive philosophy is Wes Phillips and Thomas Brown coming from that Sean McVay tree. They could put a scheme together that fits not only, I think, this team, but our rookie quarterback as well. Again, Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy will be on my list until proven otherwise. I mean, just look at what the guy's done. His resume speaks for itself. He's already in a current predicament there in Washington because Riverboat Ron is definitely going to be fired. Bieniemy has showcased his offensive mindset throughout the years over in KC, and now he's done well, even with Sam Howell there in Washington. And he's particularly done well in developing quarterbacks, right? He's got a pass-heavy approach. He's a rugged coaching style, gets in your face. I love that. I feel like he could inject some new life here, especially in Carolina with the new offense, obviously with the struggling offense that we do have. All right, another thing. Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator from the Miami. We know how that Miami offense looks. Obviously, that's due to the fact Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Devon Chain, right? Those guys, they've got talent around this offense and around Tua. The offensive line is built up for Tua. The scheme they're running there is great. That's why I'm saying Frank Smith, with his dynamic, high-power offense, I think would be great. It's that their offense there in Miami has caught the league by storm. I think Frank Smith, as being the offensive coordinator, could come here, contribute to that success positions, bring himself in as the head coach, could benefit from, I think, Smith's experience as a play caller, but that diverse offensive strategy that they run. I like Frank Smith as well from Miami. Ben Johnson's another one. Ben Johnson has been another guy that will be proven until proven otherwise. Ben Johnson did turn down a chance to interview with us back this past year before hiring Frank Wright. Okay. His electrifying, dynamic offensive scheme with the Detroit Lions has further solidified his credentials, right? Look what he's doing over there in Detroit, guys. Okay. Johnson's potential to return could offer the Panthers a fresh perspective, though. Revitalizing this offense strategy. I like Ben Johnson a lot. Another guy, Ben Slowick, again, offensive coordinator there in Texans. Now, he might not be a good fit because, again, his offense fits around CJ Stroud. And his offense is not going to fit. I just don't know. I think he's a good coach. I just don't know if his style of offense would fit Bryce. That's the reason why I'm saying that. I think he could be I think he's going to be a great head coach in the NFL. All right, because look what he's done with CJ Stroud already. But he's got great progressive thinking. He's got experience in developing first-year quarterbacks. That's a remedy that's, has a, smells for success, right? From an offensive standpoint, okay? So I like Bob Slowick. Now, again, guys, this team can still promote within, okay? This team can still promote within. Again, they could end up They could end up getting Evero, right? Evero, again, this team has had some challenges, especially from the defensive side of things too, with injuries. And look what Evero's done with this defense, with basically a mixture of starters, but a mixture of practice squad players. And that says a lot to me. All right. It shows that he's a strong candidate for a head coaching position, whether it's here or somewhere else. Other potential candidates within, again, could be Jim Caldwell, who's still here. Thomas Brown, maybe. Who knows? Another one, Todd Monken, the guy in the background there with the Ravens on. Todd Monken, if you don't know who he is, he's the one that's basically resurged that offense over there in Baltimore. Okay, he's the offensive coordinator. His scheme and his concepts is the reason why I think Lamar Jackson is being so successful. And that's what makes him a compelling candidate in my eyes, right? His experience with top-tier college programs does add some appeal as a potential head coach. But again, what he's done from an offensive standpoint over there, Baltimore, is nothing less short of remarkable. And last but not least, again, Jim Harbaugh. Again, what's going on over there in Michigan, I think it's a bunch of BS. That's the reason why they deserve to beat Ohio State, and I'm glad they beat Ohio State. I hate Ohio State, and I'm glad Michigan beat them. I'm not a Michigan fan personally, and I don't really like them much either. But again, we're seeking a complete culture reset anyways here. So why not bring in a guy like Harbaugh? He's not going to be a yes man. And the Panthers might consider him, because I can tell you right now, Jim Harbaugh will tell David Tepper to go fuck himself and tell him to sit his ass down. Again, I know he's currently the head coach of Michigan, and there's a tough situation going on in there. Obviously, he's coming back to coach the Big Ten championship. He'll finally be back for that. And then, of course, throughout the rest of the season. But it's tough. He has a no-nonsense approach. He'll inject that sense of urgency here, and he'll discipline this team. And hopefully potentially steering them back into the playoff picture. Like he did over there in the 49ers. Which would be great, because guess who could the GM be, which we're going to dive into that here shortly. Think about that. When Jim Harbaugh was in San Francisco, there's a guy in San Francisco I really want that could become next potential GM, and we're going to dive into that now. Let's talk about the GM, though, because you're next. All right, from the words of Goldberg, you're next. If you don't know what "you're next" means in WWE layman's terms, Goldberg used to tell his next victim, basically, "You're next." And you are, Scott Fitter, you're next in my eyes. And you should be next. Because we're in a tough spot now. All right? We need to clean slate. Okay? All right? Complete clean slate, complete rebuild. We don't have the luxury of high draft pick to look forward to now. To make matters worse, we're likely to be giving up the number 1 overall pick to Chicago. All right. This means that they won't have a chance to land a premier talent at the top of the draft pick, which is something that most rebuild teams have to look forward to, and we don't. Again, the Panthers desperately need help on the offensive side of the ball. Okay. But the prospects they would love to pick will all be long gone by the time they're on the clock at the top of that second round. And this is a difficult situation for owner David Tepper to be in, but he's also part of this situation, because he will have to watch the Chicago Bears select that top prospect with the first overall pick and the 2024 draft, and all of us fans are going to have to. Okay? While I don't disagree, and I know that I might be backing off a little bit, but I don't disagree to move up to get that quarterback last year. Again, I don't have an issue with that. Whether it was Bryce, whether it was Scott or CJ Stroud, blah, 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 blah. Nah. Okay. I do have an issue, though, with the fact that this team hasn't put enough pieces around a rookie quarterback to make them successful. Again, Fitterer. No. Again, let me make this clear. I am not mad at the decision to make a big move to get your quarterback, your franchise quarterback. Okay. That's, you have to do whether they wanted Bryce or CJ Stroud, well, Anthony Richardson, whatever. At the end of the day, you have to do those moves to get your franchise quarterback. Okay. What I have an issue with, so I make this clear to you guys because I know you'll bash me in the comments. Okay. I want to make this perfectly clear. I do have an issue with the fact that the team hasn't put enough pieces around Young to make this thing successful. Remember Fitterer's opening statement last spring that one of the reasons he felt comfortable making the trade was because we won't be picking in the top 10 again anytime soon? That's what he said. You remember that? He openly stated that last spring. He said that one of the reasons he felt comfortable making that trade was because he didn't think that we'd be picking in the top 10 again anytime soon. However, when you look at this team on the on-field product, it has been the worst in the league by a mile, by a complete mile, which is something that is so hard to recover from in this league. Looking back at the massive trades that Fitterer has made, and none of them paid off yet. So think about it this way. Trade number one. This is the trade this one bothers me. Okay. These are the trades that bother me the most. You brought Sam Darnold to the Panthers because that trade even looks worse now than it did at the time. Then the trade number two. You sent Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers as he resulted in the Panthers packaging that second-round pick in the trade with Chicago, then sending the third and the fourth-round picks to Pittsburgh to move up to draft the edge rusher DJ Johnson, who has been a non-factor on the field. Then you trade that number 3 pick, which not number 3 pick, sorry. The third trade that bothered me. So this is the third trade that bothers me. Okay. You brought Bryce Young to the Panthers. And this trade could end up being one of the worst trades ever made in the NFL. Not because of Bryce Young, but because of what they didn't do to put around him. But yes, there is that point. Again, guys, there is that point that if Young doesn't turn out to be the franchise guy and CJ Stroud continues to perform at a high level, then it gets worse. Right? So that's why it can look as one of the worst trades ever made in the NFL. I know, Matt, it was number 9. I was talking about the 3 trades that have bothered me the most in this franchise. So the Sam Darnold trade, you brought him in, okay? You brought Sam Darnold to the Panthers. Now that trade looks even worse than it did at the time, so think about that. You sent Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. The Panthers packaged that second-round pick in that Chicago trade. Then you're sending the third and the fourth-round picks to Pittsburgh to move up to get an edge rusher, DJ Johnson, that has been a non-factor on the field. And then that third pick that bothers me the most is the one that you brought Bryce Young to the Panthers because it could end up being one of the worst trades ever made in the NFL, especially if Young doesn't turn out to be the franchise guy and CJ Stroud continues to perform at a high level. That's how bad the trades are. That is what I'm getting at. So that's why David Tepper, or not, this is why David Tepper has to fire Scott Fitterer. That's why I put Goldberg up there and said you're next. I don't know how else to say it. All I know is there's some potential candidates out there I think that would make a great GM, and here they are. All right. These are guys that I think that could be great candidates. Okay. Matt, you would have put up the Rhino. Rhino. Gore. I love it. So one option here is the guy in the middle. The white guy in the middle. Sorry, I guess I'm gonna have to be specific here. But I think Andy Weidl, the assistant general manager of Pittsburgh Steelers. He's it kind of makes sense because he probably has worked with David Tepper in his past. I'm not sure if this guy was there when I did some background on him. He's he's up there with a fast front office over there in Pittsburgh. He has respected minds such as Ozzie Newsome, Howie Roseman. Okay. He could be some sort of progressive forward thinker. I think that could help the Panthers flourish if David Tepper decides to start fresh and relieve Scott Fitterer of his duties once the season concludes. Another option, again, guys, that's why you don't see them up here. Another option is promote within. I don't believe promoting within from the GM, from the anything because of what we've seen. Now, if we want to promote within, you can. But I do not like what I've seen. I mean, you got Samir, the guy that you got Samir Suleiman. That's the salary cap guru over there who could become a future general manager one day. But he's been praised for his cap manipulation, and although things aren't looking too promising in on that front in 2024, once extensions for Brian Burns and Frankie Luvu are finalized, again. There's also interest in Dan Morgan, who's been interviewed for general manager positions around the NFL. Now, I know he's a former Carolina Panther, linebacker, a legend in his own right on the field. But whether getting tied to Fitterer will work against him, I think remains to be seen. Adrian Wilson, the vice president of players personnel, is another option for Tepper to contemplate. However, again, promoting from within, I think, would be probably the worst decision you could make, especially considering how the Panthers have failed to deliver at every aspect of things. Okay? Let's just be honest. It's been a failure at every aspect of things. Okay, another one, though. Adam Peters, the man with the sunglasses pointing at all these guys saying, I should be hired because he should be. That's the fucking dude right there. He's the assistant general manager for the San Francisco 49ers. He's serving as the team's assistant general manager under John Lynch. He's going to be a hot commodity during the next cycle of GMs, okay? Which might work against the Panthers, but if the respected front office figure has his choices of teams, when it comes to shove, I think Tepper's reputation around the NFL isn't great already now. Right? Okay. But he's known to be a meddler, right, in the football operations, right? So therefore, when it comes to guys like Peters, okay, could look the other way unless specific reassurances are made regarding ownership involvement, which hopingly now that all of this, but with the firing of Frank Reich, how viral it has gone and how much people are talking about David Tepper in the media right now, I guarantee you David Tepper might take a step back now, hearing his name in the media and how they're bashing him. Because not only is it not in the media that's getting it out there, you know, in all these shows, it's all over Twitter, it's all over social media. It's everywhere. Articles, it's on Twitter, Instagram. Like, David Tepper is looking like really bad right now. And I guarantee you he has to acknowledge the fact of his flaws. And when it comes to this whole shebang. Again, another potential candidate, Glenn Cook. Okay, he's the assistant general manager over there in Cleveland. Okay, despite the Browns have failed to gamble, of course, of trading for that quarterback, Deshaun Watson, handing him a record-breaking $250 million guaranteed. Their roster building should be commended, though. Look at how that defense is. This is one of the league's most dynamic defenses with the right pieces in place. This defense is almost reminds me of like when the Ravens back in, 2001, where they brought like the Ravens defense was just like score 10 points and we'll hold them under 10 points kind of ordeal. So Cook could bring this expertise to the Panthers and help them build a competitive roster. All right. Another guy I like is the Philadelphia Eagles director of player personnel, Charles Walls. Okay. And it's imperative that they acquire a front office staff member from definitely a contending team, right? And the Eagles for sure are. Okay. The Eagles are undoubtedly the best organization to examine closely. I would probably even say, look at what the 49ers did back in 2017, or maybe even go look at what the Rams did in 2017, right? Those are some times or organizations maybe you want to examine. But with Howie Roseman at the helm, who is arguably the league's best general manager, in my opinion, the Panthers need a cutthroat individual with experiencing working for contenders. That's why Adam Peters is on this list. That's why I got Charles Walls on this list. Okay. Walls' experience and methods implement in his current role make him the perfect candidate for this job. And I feel that if Scott Fitterer is let go, the Panthers should waste no time in bringing in Walls for an interview. So these are some candidates I'm considering and I've looked at if they decide to part ways with Scott Fitterer. Okay. If there's any other names out there that you'd like to mention, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on that as well. All right. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. We talked about Frank Reich's owners firing, why he got fired, what was the worst, why were the reasons why he got fired, why these other guys got fired. We talked about potential candidates that they could look into. But then it was, like I said, it's not all Frank's fault. We talked about David Tepper meddling in the operations, right? We talked about not just David Tepper, but we talked about Scott Fitterer, what's going on with him. So again, guys, it's not all Frank's fault. It starts from the top. Dan Patrick even said that on his show. You know, he's like, it starts from the top, starts from the ownership, starts from the general manager, and it works its way down. And that's basically what's happened, right? That's why we're here. Marco's, yeah, he would be good too. I've heard good things. I've heard good things about him. I've actually heard good things about him. From a scouting standpoint, absolutely. They've had killer drafts. They've had killer drafts. Honestly, they really have. They really, really have. So, absolutely. I like him. I'll look into him more, maybe do some research on him. Rob Lohman. I'll have to do some more research, but they have had some hell of a drafts. So, guys, make sure you pound that like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you love the content I continue to put out there, please continue to subscribe and follow, like, share this. Definitely going to be live tomorrow. We're going to do film breakdown. Probably going to talk about some more stuff as well, and more news, more updates, more rumors, whatever the case may be, potential candidates. Oh, got to show y'all something. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. Got something in the mail today. And it's something I think y'all should see. Madden content. So this is what we're going to use for Madden content. I'll be able to stream it live to YouTube, and we'll be able to do some Madden content for the Carolina Panthers. We'll do a full rebuild of the Carolina Panthers. All right. Y'all cool with that? Would y'all rather do that tomorrow or do a film sesh? Or maybe we'll do that on Wednesday. Maybe we'll do that on Wednesday. We'll do the Madden content maybe on Wednesday or something, or maybe we'll make that like a Friday thing or something. But I'll be at practice tomorrow morning. No worries. I won't do it tomorrow morning. Tepper doing a press conference tomorrow. Jen, what time's he doing the press conference? What time's he doing the press conference, Jen? Because I'll go live tomorrow during that press conference, and we'll watch it together. What time's his press conference tomorrow, though? David Tepper press conference tomorrow. It's about time this bald-headed dickhead finally says he's going to do a press conference. What time is it, though? Panther Raider X, he says it's 10:30. All right. Hopefully we can get it. So 9:30 a.m. Central Time, so that's 10:30 my time. All right, we'll see if we can get it. I'll see if I can get it. Is it going to be on YouTube or is it going to be on Twitter? Do we know that? Is it going to be a public thing? Is it going to be on TV? Like, what are we doing? What do you think? It'll probably be on ESPN, I guarantee you. Probably be on ESPN. Okay. All right, we'll do a live tomorrow. Maybe we'll just do the press conference in the film room. All right, Jen, we'll figure it out for sure. YouTube, yeah, we'll definitely, and then we'll stream it. I'll stream it tomorrow morning. All right, boys and girls, love y'all. Thank you for the love and support that y'all continue to show me. Make sure you pound that like button like it owes you money. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Kyrito, just be yourself, man. Play hard, play aggressive. Don't let anybody push you around. All right, keep that ball in your hand. Make good passes. Make good choices when it comes to shooting. And just ball out, man. Don't think too much about it. But again, guys, make sure you pound the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Also, check out all the links down below. Check out the Discord, guys. Make sure you join the Discord, guys. More of y'all should be getting in the Discord. Get in the Discord. Marcos Cash is in there. We got Panther Raider X in there. We got Glitches in there. We got a bunch of people starting to join in there. We're starting to get some conversations flowing in there. So more of that. I need more of that. Okay. Feed me more. Okay. Feed me more. All right. And also follow me on all my socials. All right. And then make sure you check out BetUS. All right. The sponsorship of our every live stream. All right. Appreciate everyone joining. I'm going to go eat my Chipotle. Watch Monday Night Raw. Peace.